Today we are getting a sneak peek into the work of the Cameroon team of the International Research Cluster, which is a research program between the University of Cologne, the University of Bamenda in Cameroon, partners in Myanmar, and the Chulalongkorn University in Thailand. The research focuses on conflict-induced displacement. The students Nembot and Angelis are preparing presents for their research participants. They did their data collection in May 2023, and today, 5 months later, they will be holding a feedback workshop.
Today is the day. We are here today for a feedback workshop in order to tell them how the results that we obtain look like.
Rice and soap for each participant. It seems like a small gift, but it helps the families a lot. Families that have been displaced due to the Anglophone conflict in Cameroon. They fled their homes and came here to the closest French-speaking city of Cameroon, Bafoussam. The conflict is happening in the Anglophone part of Cameroon, which consists of 2 regions, the northwest and the southwest. The contemporary crisis was sparked by a strike in 2016, orchestrated by teachers and lawyers over the use of the French language in the Anglophone schools and courts.
For over 50 years, Anglophones have been marginalized. For over 50 years, the educational institutions of Anglophone has been francophonized. Anglophones should be given the right to manage their own affairs.
The protesters' demands were never met, leading to a long-lasting conflict. Since 2017, separatist groups have been demanding secession from French-speaking Cameroon and want to establish their own state. A violent conflict broke out between separatists and the Cameroonian military. A brutal conflict, at the expense of the civilian population. Around 6,000 people have died, and about 765,000 people had to flee their homes. Many of these internally displaced persons are now living in Bafoussam. But how are they managing their new living situation here in the French-speaking city? The research of the International Research Cluster ties in with this question.
The number of IDPs globally is rapidly increasing. Now, displacement always comes with changes in livelihood, changes in psychology, changes in people's way of thinking and doing. And unfortunately, Cameroon constitutes one of the world's neglected crises, and therefore is not attracting sufficient media attention or international support to deal with the crisis. This is also a characteristic of the Myanmar conflict, and that is why the project was somewhat designed to develop new knowledge on these so-called neglected crises, especially on the aspects of how people deal with their day-to-day livelihood activities and the important aspect of how they get integrated into the labor market or not.
We wanted to identify how their livelihood have changed as a result of their displacement from Bamenda to Bafoussam for the past years. What have happened? What have changed? How is their life? How are they coping with life in Bafoussam? How do they survive this repercussion of the crisis?
Little attention was paid about their labor market integration. That is, how far are they having something to do in Bafoussam that can maybe lead them to maybe earn a living or to have a better life than what they used to have in Bamenda and Boya before, during the crisis. So that's why I focused on carried out my project on labor market integration.
From the result I got from the field, it shows that these IDP who have left Bamenda since 2016 actually are living in Bafoussam under horrible conditions. Where they live is liable to disease, mosquito, they don't have good accommodation. Why? So because I realized that they only go to places where they can actually afford at a minimum price. And those areas are always not good for living. The food they eat were not up to standard. They have to reduce the number of time they eat, and in terms of education for the IDP children, quality have dropped. Many drop out as a result of inability to send them back to school. So it's just like a hand to mouth. They don't have enough to save. What they get for the day is what they eat with the family, and only have hope for tomorrow.
Most of the the internally displaced persons that are not integrated in the labor market don't have a certain standard of education, and they cannot briefly express themselves in French, which is the language mostly spoken by the population in Bafoussam. So that was one of the main challenges they faced. And their inability to speak French led to many discrimination, maybe at the public places like hospitals and in markets or any other place.
Most of the IDPs try to build up their own little businesses here in Bafoussam, whether little market stalls or repair shops or a hairdressing saloon or little pubs. The people here try to make the best of the situation. One of them is Mama Evelyn. She came to Bafoussam from the northwest region in 2018. She has set up a little business where she sells her self-made palm wine. She supplies her family with this.
I have 6 children. To manage in school, manage the white stop. I have no person to support me. Yes, it's me want to support that children. But I have no way to support them to go to school. My husband leave me, abandon me with the children and go. Then I no support to stay on village because we no go to school. I bring my children here. Then I manage here, only me one, then the pikin and go to school. The rest, they no go to school because I have no money.
The presentation room is getting full. Around 60 participants came to the workshop today. Everyone is waiting patiently because there is a little issue. Initially, we didn't want to start a presentation without Professor Roland being present, but the rain changed our plans. The roads from Bamenda to Bafoussam are covered in mud and Roland's car is stuck. A typical thing people in Cameroon have to deal with. So we start the presentation without Roland. Luckily, Nembert and Angeles are masters in improvisation and are handling Roland's part of the presentation perfectly. As they are presenting their research results, they get a lot of approval.
To 2023, as we like diagram for this side, inability to send children to school because maybe lack of finance. Thank you.
The presentation is finished and now it's time for the presents.
Yeah, any other thing we call. Okay. Yeah, see we have your number. I don't know if you prefer to go me, might give a transfer.
The participants are grateful and everyone leaves the room with a smile.
They were really happy that we came back. Many have been promising them that after their activity that they had with them, they will come back, but they did not come back. So as we came back today, they were really happy to see us and we were also happy. So the feedback workshop was a successful one. Many IDPs came, we discussed, we presented the results to them, and we kept motivating them that better is coming, and let them stay put and wait for a better future.
The process of the feedback workshop, I think this is a very innovative approach to science. You know, many people would collect data from respondents, use them for scientific purposes, but would not think that the respondents should be able to understand what came out of their work. So we are particularly happy that we could do that today, and we are very hopeful that our work is going to have an impact, not only in the research domain, but also in policy and development sectors.